and welcome to another episode of The Writing Finger. My name is Subramani, and today, as always, I am joined by my fellow book reader and author, Ashwin Karthik. And today, we're going to talk about 7 things that you can do to motivate yourself to be a writer. First of all, I thought we should examine a little bit about why you should write, because you think that writers only write or writing is meant for a specific kind of people who just write. It's not. If you're a businessman, for example, if you write a book, that book becomes your calling card, your what do you call your springboard to greater expansion of your business. And it goes on like that. Ashwin here has written a lot of books. He says that he's written one book every year since 2019. So let's go talk to him and find out what he has to say about why you should write a book. Ashwin, why do you write a book? Why do you write?
Well, there are many reasons which make me like Subramani, but then if you want to make the list of the most important factors that can motivate anybody to write, is to first factor would be to have a goal that inspires you and motivates you to write. For me, my goal to write was in the memory of my loving father, because he was one person who always motivated me to express myself, and
Yes,
I feel words were my way to expression, right? So
definitely.
that is my greatest motivation to write, and that is my goal. But generally, I'd say anybody who wants to write should have a goal in mind, and
Absolutely. Absolutely.
you know,
As you pointed out, it has to be specific
yeah,
and it has to be measurable. For example, Stephen King says, you can write, say, 1,000 words a day. 1,000 words is measurable, and
yeah.
if you regularly write, that 1,000 words would probably take about an hour or an hour and a half. If it's a good day, it's also achievable, uh, maybe in 45 minutes.
It also depends, right? It may not be thousand for everyone who wants to write. For
It doesn't
example,
have to be. Yeah.
if you
You're
if
right.
you take
Yes.
me, if you take consider me, when I have ran a blog post continuously for 2 years, that's 124 weeks, and my blog posts was usually about 800 words, and then it was a weekly blog post. So it means in one blog post, if I had 800 words,
Yes.
for per day I had to write 200 words, right?
Absolutely.
For me
Absolutely.
to allow to complete it in a week's time and then edit it, post it, whatever, right? So the
Absolutely.
200 is, I think, very, very manageable, very, very achievable
I'll
for
give you two
everyone.
examples
Yeah,
of how, see, if you ask me, I've been writing a blog called Grappling with RP on WordPress for nearly 10 years now. And I know for a fact that if you keep specific goals, it's easier to achieve. There's another thing called, there's another writer, author from whom I have learned writing. Her name is Shanta Grimes, and she continues to teach even today. You can search for her on Google by typing ninja writers. And she says that 10 minutes, any task that you keep your mind to for 10 minutes a day, 10 minutes is all it takes to make a habit. If you do it for 21 days, it becomes a habit. So Yeah, so you can make these goals and you can achieve them so easily so that it becomes part of your life. So the second point is that how do you motivate yourself? You motivate yourself by surrounding yourself with positive people, people who give positive feedback about your writing. Now, I'm not saying that you should have people who sugarcoat or who kind of say a lot of goofy things about your writing. I'm talking about people who criticize, but provide those criticism in a constructive way. What do you think?
Most agreeing to you, Subramani, because here, and I would like to share a personal anecdote as well. Uh, as I told you, my father's memory is my greatest motivating factor for me to write. It so happened, about 10 years ago in 2013, when just before I was about to receive my president's medal at the national capital from the then president of India, Pranab Mukherjee. It so happened that Sachin Tendulkar happened to call me, and in the he wanted to congratulate me, and in that conversation, I mentioned to him that in my childhood, my father had told me, or had tried to inspire me by telling me that someday he would love to see me receive a medal from the
Yes.
president of the country. And
Yeah.
today, back then, on that day, I told Sachin that he is not with us anymore to see his dream come true. But that is when Sachin told me that, he will be watching you or me making his dream come true, and that is why I should write my life, and that would inspire millions. That those were the lines that stuck with me till today, and that is where I find my greatest inspiration to write,
Absolutely.
to, know,
Mm.
to give my gratitude to my father. So it is not only positive feedback that comes from people, but it could also be
Mm.
positive memories, positive thoughts that inspire you, and that can motivate you to write.
So if you ask me why I started to write, basically, I started to write because my primary motivation was to make people understand that there's something called gradual vision loss that can happen to people, just like how it happened to me when I was about 18. In a space of 6 months' time, I completely lost my sight, and it was a very challenging journey for me. And my book Lights Out talks about this journey and how this condition called retinitis pigmentosa or any gradual vision loss condition can affect not just an individual but the whole family. So I wanted to create awareness, and I felt really motivated by that idea, and took whatever help I can in terms of writing to finish that task. You see, so definitely that is something that we should do, because writing is not just a self-glorifying thought. Writing is basically something that motivates us also. It helps the society in a greater way.
Next point that we would like to talk about that inspires us to write is really inspiring things. When it happens to many of us, or all of us, if I may say so, right? You read something
Yes.
inspiring, and that you feel that your day is made. You feel so positive throughout the day, right? So I completely believe that reading something inspiring can also motivate you to write. I would like to give one example here. You know that there is this poem many of us might have read. It's called Stopping by Woods on a Snowy Evening, written by Robert Frost. And
Yeah.
it has few lines which have inspired me all my life. The lines go like this. It says, um, the woods are so beautiful and deep, but I have promises to keep, and miles before I sleep. These lines have been inspiring me all my life, not to just write, but for everything I do on a daily basis,
Wonderful.
you know.
Yeah.
So I feel
I know
inspiring reading.
if it's of any consolation to you, those are the same lines that inspired Jawaharlal Nehru, and he used to keep the very same lines on his desk, and miles to go before I sleep, and miles to go before I sleep.
Yeah,
Um, the fourth important point that you can kind of think about in terms of motivating yourself, um, is to kind of experiment freely. Uh, we were discussing this in the past as well, in the previous episodes as well, where you know you can kind of keep writing or keep jotting down the lines that are of that inspired you to write, or lines that sound inspiring. Copy them into a text, and when you
mm,
keep doing it, there will come a time when you kind of start to write on your own. You find your own way, in your own creative way, to sort of motivate yourself into writing uh the number of words for the day that you kind of set up yourself to write. What do you
Subramani, it is
say?
very,
Yes.
very interesting, I had read somewhere, and I've also heard it from the man himself, Sachin, in one of my conversations with him.
Yeah.
And I had asked him, how does he prepare? While he was actively playing cricket,
Yeah.
how does he prepare for the match? And he said, more than the practice on the pitch or
Hmm.
on the field, what mattered to him was the preparation that he did in his mind. He said he would visualize, the most difficult bowler he found in the opponent team. How would he play him, or what were the possible deliveries he would bowl to Sachin, and
Absolutely.
how Sachin would encounter that bowler, because um, he felt if he could, defeat him in his mind, that transpired, yeah, on the field next day, right? So I feel it's all in the mind.
A lot of the battle is won in the mind, whether it's cricket or chess or writing or anything that you take. It's all one in the mind. Okay. Yeah, so the next
Yeah,
point, uh, is basically, to create a supporting environment around you. Ashwin, what do you say?
definitely, definitely. But an environment is as important. Uh, as the task itself, right? When you write or you do any activity, you should always be always surround yourself with positive thoughts. It also might mean that if it takes to do it, you can also spend some time alone. This
Yes.
does not mean that writing is a solo journey. Yes, it is a solo journey for many people, but it does not, put solitude in a negative
No, no,
connotation.
no, no. Solitude is never negative. I tell you,
Yes,
loneliness is negative, but solitude is never. I wouldn't say it's negative. The 6 and the 7 points that I'd like to mention, Ashwin, is that you have to create learning opportunities for yourself, which is basically joining writing courses or being with people who are writing. There are also online forums that you can be a part of in terms of uh, learning, and it's just mutual. Okay. And the seventh and the last point, of course, is celebrating your milestones. That's a great thing, right? If you finish writing a blog or finish writing a book or whatever, you kind of do a small celebration. Maybe you have a glass of coffee, or maybe if you prefer alcoholic beverages, you can have a shot, whatever. You celebrate the way you'd like to celebrate. So those are the 7 points that would help you to motivate yourself to be a writer. What do you think about these points? Put in the comments for us to read and respond. um, we would join you next time. Until then, it's goodbye from me, Subramani.
and just because Subramani mentioned alcoholic beverages, I'd say cheers to all of you guys. Till next time, we see you in another interesting and motivating episode of The Writing Finger. See you soon. Bye bye.
Bye. 22 minutes.